All right, so I already unboxed all my chemicals and equipment and stuff. And last time we actually did a smell review on Thanksgiving, and it was probably not very accurate because there's something called olfactory fatigue, which is basically just means your smelling just gets completely numb after smelling too many different things. So it probably wasn't too accurate, but I mean, to some extent, it was accurate. We did smell all of them. A lot of them were bad, was what I realized, but that could just be, you know, all mixing the flavors. You know, some of them don't mix with others. But what I got today, well, I mean, I have everything that I need, basically. All my equipment, all my oils and stuff. And I wrote this out just before starting this. And basically, this is just my recipe, right, that I'm going to be using for my main fragrance that I've been wanting to make. Yeah, since episode 1, we've been wanting to make a Christmas, kind of masculine, Christmassy pine, just kind of nostalgic, but cozy fragrance, right? Yeah, this is what recipe we're going to be using, and we'll just see how it turns out. The one fragrance I've been actually wanting to get really is Burberry London. I've heard that that's really well rated. Lots of people like it, and just the bottle looks beautiful. It seems like it has the vibe that I would want in a fragrance. So hopefully we can get something similar to just that kind of overall vibe that Burberry London has. This perfumery stuff is an absolute disaster. And this desk is like so dirty right now. Peep ham sandwich. Taking the snooze over there. Anyway, let's go over our ingredients list here and our measurements that I got out here. So this was for a 10 milliliter dilution. Or not dilution, but 10 milliliter mixture. So I'm going to be mixing it, and the total is going to be 10 milliliters, which is a lot. But, I mean, like, I don't really know how many tries I can get with this. I'm just kind of too lazy to do a bunch of different tries in smaller dilutions, and my scale isn't too accurate. So I figured we'll just be really careful and just get this all in one go, and we'll see how it goes, right? If we want to adjust anything, we'll figure it out at the end, all right? And I wrote strict by this one just because nutmeg can be really overpowering. So, like, this is a fine dilution, but it's still strict. And this habanolide might be also a little worrisome because that's very strong. And so what I wrote up here is no pre-dilution. So I don't have my alcohol yet. It's supposed to get here tonight. But I can't dilute these yet. So pre-dilution is basically you just dilute them so they're less strong. So, like, you can use them in higher amounts, and it'll basically be the same amount of oil that you're using, right? Because you put alcohol in it. So, like, if I did this to 10%, right, then I would be putting 10 times as much for the same size, right? Or the same concentration. So there's certain things on here that I'm going to add. This is only 8 milliliters. So there's 2 milliliters of other things that I can't add yet because I need the alcohol. So one thing, for example, is ethyl maltol 1%, which is really strong, like overpowers just everything. That's why it says ethyl maltol 1%, which it's already at 1%. And then even after that, like, I need to dilute it because I can't physically measure out a small enough amount to put in there. So I need to dilute that. And then also with things like this is Calone, which I don't think I'm going to put Calone in there. But I have vanillin that's also in a solid form like that. It's like a powder. And so I need alcohol to dissolve that in, right? I can't just throw it into the mixture and just hope it dissolves, right? We should definitely dilute that in alcohol, make sure that it's liquid before we put it into the mixture, just to keep the whole mixture safe, right? So yeah, this is only 8 milliliters. When I get the alcohol, I'm gonna have to finish off the last 2 milliliters that I'm gonna dilute before I put in. So, but I've considered all that, and, you know, we're gonna adjust how much we put in based on, you know, those being diluted. All right, so there's really not too much to discuss before we just start mixing this stuff. I'm gonna need to get a bottle from my big box of bottles. Then we just got pipettes and more pipettes. These are bigger ones. I think these are 1 milliliter. It doesn't actually say 1 milliliter or half, but I have my 0.2 ones, and I think the 0.2 milliliters is gonna be a lot better for what we're doing here because my smallest amount that I'm putting in here is 0.05 for the Undercavertol and Florhydral are both 0.05. So I'm gonna have to be very careful on those, not to add too much, especially because these are 0.2. So it's gonna have to be 1/4 of a full drop of one of these. But yeah, we're gonna go through quite a few of these. There's like 18 18 to 20 ingredients here. So we're gonna be using about 20 pipettes today. I don't know why I did that. If you didn't see my equipment video, basically I just bought a whole box of 30 of these 15 milliliter amber bottles. I also got polycone caps, which is what you need, bro. This little bag of caps. Boom. So I have to be very, very precise here because this is the moment we've been waiting for a long time. All right, so we put the bottle on, we tear it, get rid of the weight, set it back to 0. Starting off first, we're gonna go with Hungarian pine, which I actually have in this separate bag, which is just for all my naturals. So these ones were a lot more expensive. And for Hungarian pine, it's actually a lot. This is my most out of the whole mixture. It's 1.2 milliliters. So quite a lot. And this stuff smells so strong. It is crazy how strong this is. All right. Also forgot to say this is Hungary pine needle, right? Which was supposedly, according to ChatGPT, the best pine needle. Got it right to 1.209, which we're going for 1.2, so close enough. Now, normally close enough would not be close enough, but we don't really need to care about the third decimal point because, like I said, our smallest measurement that we're doing here is 0.05. So the third decimal point really isn't going to make hardly any difference at all, except for those things that are like the pre-dilutions, which, you know, my scale is not accurate really to do that. So that's why I'm going to wait until I'm alcohol to pre-dilute that. All right, next up we got bergamot 0.6. Which is also in my naturals bag. And this was, I think, my most expensive oil out of all of them for its size. Which is not really any surprise. It's a very, very popular one. So we're doing 0.6 for this. Hold on, don't forget to tear scale, there we go. 0.6 is actually a lot. Because keep in mind, this whole bottle of bergamot is 4. Bergamot smells so good. It's a beautiful citrus, bro. Probably the best smelling citrus. Easily, which is why it's so popular, I would imagine. Got that right to 0.6, which means we're on to dihydromercenol. Oh gosh, how am I gonna find this? All right, so I finally found it just randomly looking through all of those. I felt like Horton Hears a Who, where he's like looking for the clover in the field of like a billion of them. That's what it felt like. But I found it. I think I'm gonna sort them probably by top, base, and middle, just like in the box, like when you open it, the top is top, middle, and then base is at the bottom. I think that would probably work the best for me. But dihydromercenol is a top note, right? So we're starting out with top notes. I keep forgetting to tear the scale. All right, we got it to just about 0.4. This is a very like herby kind of smelling. It's hard to describe dihydromercenol. Really, a lot of these scents are like nothing I have ever smelled. So it's just so hard to even like explain what something smells like. Remember to tear the scale, guys. Next up, we got Undercavertol. Once again, I'm just gonna have to somehow randomly look through all these and find that. All right, so this is the one that we need to do 0.05, so we have to be very careful for this one. And this one smells actually just like watermelon. Really nice watermelon smell. All right, so it's just randomly switching between 0.049 and 0.051. I don't know what's wrong with the scale, but we just won't worry about it. And then our next one is actually also 0.015 or 0.05, which is fluorhydral, right? Which is here, fluorhydral. Let's go. Okay. Nothing too crazy, but we're at 0.057. So just a little bit over for fluorhydral. And then all we got is citral, and then we'll be done with top notes. I don't know why that one took me absolutely ages, but I finally found citral. Would have been nice if I remembered it was pea color. Because most of them are clear, but citral is dehydrated. Oh my gosh, that is genuinely just lemongrass. That's citral done. That means our top notes are officially complete. I feel like I'm not Christmassy enough without a sweater on. I mean, this is like a zip-up sweater, but we can do better, bro. See, this is what I'm talking about. So we're actually a lot closer to Christmas than I thought we were. It's like the 15th or something, which means I got like 10 days, which it doesn't feel close to Christmas. Like nobody's got their decorations. Nobody's got lights in town. It's not like you don't hear Christmas music anywhere. It's like, what happened, bro? It's the 15th. We got 10 days till Christmas. So if nobody's told you Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, bro. Anyway, let's move on to our middle notes. Which we're going to be starting out with nutmeg, which is in our naturals, which is very strong. This is the one that I wrote strict on because I've heard plenty of times that nutmeg, clove, anything like that is very strong. I mean, I got to experience clove firsthand. It kind of just overpowered my first mixture that I made. Wow, yeah, nutmeg, very strong. Almost like kind of a Petco kind of spiciness, whatever that means. One thing I do want to say about Perfumer's Apprentice and their bottles, they fill them very full. That's after taking out 0.2, and it's still, you can't even see the top. It is filled as full as it can possibly get. So yeah, really appreciate that. Like, I'm not getting scammed out of anything. I'm not getting any half full or 3/4 full bottles. This is absolutely filled as full as it can get. Then we got patchouli, which, who doesn't like patchouli, okay? Actually, probably a lot of people don't, but I love patchouli, bro. Oh my gosh, yeah. Patchouli is so nice. It's just grown on me. It's such a nice, earthy, dirty, rooty flavor. We're using 0.4 of this, which is actually quite a good amount. That's our patchouli completed. And look at that, exactly 0.4. So satisfying. So that's patchouli done. Then we're on to Hedione and Isoi Super, which are both 1 milliliter each. All right, I went and retrieved Hedione and Isoi Super, right? And these are 4 milliliter bottles. So we're gonna be taking 1/4 of the entire bottle. I don't actually know what these smell like, and I probably won't ever know because my nose is becoming very numb. All right, so I totally forgot to tear the scale, but we were at 0.4. So we just got to get to 1.4. This is the good thing about recording everything you're doing, because I would have no clue if I actually had teared the scale or not. But I got to look back and see that I definitely didn't. That's our Hedione done. We're sitting at 1.4. This time we are going to tear it, and then we're moving on to Isoi Super, which is very, very popular, bro. Genuinely, this is the most popular used by like everybody. Really nice, clean and musky, masculine kind of fragrance. Isoi Super done. Got it to 1.008. And we're on to phenethyl alcohol. We got phenethyl alcohol, ebonol, and then we'll be good for middle. All right, so the formula that I wrote out was from the list online from the Perfumer's Apprentice like starter kit. Basically just this page where it shows all the things that are gonna be in the kit. And there was phenethyl alcohol. And so using the help of ChatGPT, it told me to use phenethyl alcohol. But I don't have phenethyl alcohol. And I've spent this whole time looking for like 10 minutes through this box, lifting each and every bottle. It's not in there. I've gone over it like 4 times, over every bottle. And so I had to go to Google and I looked up phenethyl alcohol and phenyl ethyl alcohol to see if they were the same thing. Apparently they're the exact same compound. So I don't know why on the list it's written differently, but the bottle says phenyl ethyl alcohol, and on the list it says just as one word, phenethyl alcohol. So, but we're chilling. We got phenyl ethyl alcohol, which is hopefully going to be the exact same thing. That smells very floral and very strong, but it's honestly kind of nice. Well, that was close. I just fully went free willy and was not paying attention to how much I was putting in. And I got it right on 0.2, which to be honest, I was hoping to do a little bit less of this. Just because it's a very strong, like kind of granny floral scent. But I got a little more than I was supposed to, so we're just gonna have to deal with it, I guess. All right, and then our last one that's in the middle notes is ebonol, which we're gonna do 0.4. Oh, well, I wasn't even paying attention and I got it right to 0.4 once again. I don't know, this is just fully luck at this point. Or my scale is like listening to me, because like I was not paying attention to what I was putting in. I was just going for it. Just be careful when you're measuring stuff, guys. Ebonol is another very granny scent, very much a flowery, powdery scent. But who knows? Maybe it'll be good in the whole mixture. I didn't know what each of these smells like because, like, you know, I can't smell like all of them and be accurate. So I just had to go off of whatever Google said each of these smelled like, which is probably a lot more accurate than what I would do anyway. Hopefully, Hopefully this is gonna work out. But yeah, that's our middle notes done. So I'm going to go get some trail mix from right behind me. Also peep the bloom pack, because my work gave me this just for Thanksgiving for free. Okay, well that just fell everywhere. Look at this, bro. For Thanksgiving, they gave me a free case. How kind of them. Because I absolutely love these, right? I was able to pick whatever I wanted. Heck yeah, bro. Bloom raspberry lemon. Best drink, bro. Best energy drink. Gotta cop me some trail mix, though. Also, this is probably bad. Like, don't cross-contaminate stuff or, like, risk, like, getting food into your mixtures. And definitely, like, probably wash your hands before... Actually, I'm probably gonna wash my hands before I eat. Because who knows how toxic some of this stuff is. Just don't cross-contaminate, guys, because it can genuinely just ruin so much. And it's like, you want to, like, break down and be like, oh, well, why? Like, how is it going to ruin it, you know? Just don't even risk it, bro. Just don't risk it. You don't want to waste all your chemicals and just mess up, right? You want to keep it pristine, great quality, right? That's what we're going for. And then by the end of this, also wanted to say, I'm going to probably go outside and get some fresh air and just wait a little while for my nose to recover from that olfactory fatigue, I think is what it's called. And then I'll come back and smell the mixture so I can just like kind of rest and get a really accurate smell of like what it actually smells like without any of that bias from my nose just being tired from this whole thing. Feel free, guys, to go pop yourself some snacks. This is a good time of the video to do it. Get yourself some Nature Valley bar, one of those oats and honey ones that just shatter everywhere, make a huge mess. And while we're taking this little intermission, feel free to comment down below. What do you want for Christmas, bro? Let me know. What is it you're hoping for this Christmas? No rules, no restrictions. Just go hog wild with it, right? You never know, bro. You might just get it. All right, Santa Claus is coming to town, bro. I genuinely am losing my mind, bro. The toxic fumes in here are making me go crazy. It's like the scarecrow toxin, bro. I am genuinely going crazy from these fumes. It's so strong, but it actually smells horrible. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so I know I said don't cross-contaminate and that I was gonna wash my hands, but I'm too lazy to go back to the sink and wash my hands again after eating like one handful of trail mix. So we're just not going to, bro. So moving on to base, we got ambroxan, galaxolide, habanolide, velvione, ambretolide, and then more ebanol. And really the main reason this ebanol is here is just to round out it to a total 8 milliliters, right? But then also, ebanol is really nice for blending your pines. And so not just Hungarian pine, but a lot of this top note is creating one really nice pine scent, all right? And so ebanol is actually a really nice thing to use in higher concentrations. It doesn't really overpower nearly as much. And so we're just going to use that because ebanol, when it's in a lower amount, is really a middle note. But then when you use it in a higher concentration, like, 0.7, which is we're using here, it really becomes a base, right? And bases basically just means it lasts longer. So ebanol is kind of going to carry some of that pine scent, and it's going to make it last longer. So that's what we're going for. Honestly, I'm pretty confused myself when it comes to all of this. I'm definitely not a professional, but I'm trying to figure it out, all right? So ambroxan, we got a pretty big dosage. We got 0.8 here, which once again, guys, make sure you tear your scale. This pipette sucks. And guys, it's definitely a good idea to double check your measurements. Like make sure you're measuring the right one. Like when you write it out on a list like I have, which I find really helpful, having it all written out on paper, right? Not just online. It really makes it a lot easier to do while you're doing it. Just go to this. Plus I'm filming with my phone anyway, so, but yeah, it's a lot nicer to have on paper. Plus you can look back on all your things and you know they're all in one place in a notebook like this. It's just helpful, right? But make sure you double check like that this line is going across to the same, correct measurement, and you're not like getting lost because you could absolutely cook your whole fragrance if you just make one small mess up like that. We got it to exactly 0.8. How beautiful. All right, the next up we got galaxolide 50%. Oh my goodness. Oh my, I just made a mess everywhere. It's all over my hands. Okay. It's not too strong, luckily. It's just kind of a soapy kind of smell. For Galactic Slide, we're doing 0.6. I got 1 drop in there. We'll just do just under 0.6, I guess. Genuinely, I feel like the most difficult part about Perfumery is tearing your scale. I never remember to tear the scale, bro. Really going slower is never going to be a bad thing, right? Especially when it's your first time mixing something. All right, so we're just under 0.6, so I'll stop there. All right, next up is a very scary one. We're doing Habana Light. Okay, there it is. If you guys saw my last video or the one before that, when I was unboxing my aroma chemicals, you know Habana Light is toxic, okay? It's an amazing smell, but it takes over everything, bro. It is extremely potent. And definitely a base, right? It lasts forever. It, like, genuinely, I got this on my hands, and I smelled it still after washing my hands, showering twice. This was like 3 days later, I could still smell it. It was like engraved into my flesh, bro. But yeah, Habana Light, we're not doing too much. It was recommended I do like 0.2, but I'm going to do like 0.1 because I really don't want to be overpowering with Habana Light. And there's certainly not going to be a shortage of it. Like, you can definitely smell it, bro. This thing is filling up quickly, dude. This bottle's like half full, bro. It's actually crazy. Which means if it's exactly half full, that means we'd be at 7.5 if we're completely halfway, which should be about right because we're doing 8 milliliters total here. So we're almost done, all right? We got Velvione, we got Embretolide, and then we're gonna add a little bit more Ebinol, which I probably should have kept the pipette for that when I knew we were gonna do that twice, but we're just gonna have to use another one. This one, Velvione, is the one that's like thick. It's like gel, like frozen. I don't know how I'm gonna put this in there. I think I'm going to have to wait, probably. Yeah, because this is not coming out. It's not liquid, bro. It is totally like frozen. Well, it's just a crystal. Oh my. Wow, it smells really good though. Yeah, so we're gonna have to wait for that one. We're gonna have to wait. And that is Velvione. So for Velvione, we gotta remember we did not get Velvione. We gotta put that in next time when we can dilute it. Okay. What we can do though is Embretolide, which I don't remember at all what this smells like, but it's supposedly a very low base. Okay. Really, really nice musk. Super nice. Great smell. Embretolide, I approve, bro. Okay, so for this, we're going to do 0.1. Not very much. All right, we got it just over 0.1. And that's the last one. So looks like we are done for what we can actually do today. Or actually, we're going to add some Ebinol. Ebinol, there it is. All right, so we're going to add 0.3 more Ebinol. All right, bro. So that is everything that we can do today. Done. Let's see what our total is, actually. We're going to turn the scale off. Just out of curiosity, I want to see how much our total mixture weighs. So we're just going to add a random empty bottle that has not been touched by anything. It's about 26. After tearing it, which means we should be at negative 26. Put that back on. We're at 7.25. Oh, I know what was off. Yeah, we didn't add Velvione. That's why. So because we didn't add Velvione, we're at 7.25. For Velvione, we were going to add 0.2. So there was still a little bit lost, but we would be at just about 7.5 with Velvione added. So I don't know how we're going to do Velvione. It's like a crystal kind of thing. We're probably going to have to dissolve it in a dilution and then just use a bigger amount of it. But we will see, right? I'm going to be researching that, looking into how perfumers make dilutions and stuff, and just really try and get that down before I try and do it, because It's a very simple thing at its base, but I just really don't want to do it incorrectly and then waste something. It's a lot of hassle that you don't want to go through. Yeah, here's our beautiful setup afterwards. All right, we got, those were our bases, our middles, and then our top notes. And look at the amount of pipettes that we use, bro. Absolutely crazy. Okay, well, a bunch of those just went on my floor. This is why it's nice to have a trash can by you, bro. Definitely have a trash can at your perfumery station. I don't know where that one went, but anyway, I'm gonna wash my hands because my hands are covered in this stuff now. Then I'm gonna go outside. Peep outside, bro. Hold on. Beautiful winter day outside. So I'm gonna go outside, get some fresh air, go for a walk or something. Then we'll be back and I'll do just kind of smell my mixture, see what it smells like, get it out of the direct sunlight so it doesn't fade and evaporate. But yeah, we're just gonna put a cap on that and close this up, and I will be back to smell this and see if it's any good. So, all right, guys, it's been an entire week since I recorded the actual video, and I never smelled this because it turned out I was doing something that afternoon after I finished the video, which is probably good because this has been able to sit in the box and just kind of marinate, and the scent has kind of it's stuck around for a long time in my room. I aired out, like opened my windows like 4 different times. It is ingrained into my walls, like the whole scent, like the entire house, right? We have like 6 bedrooms or something in this house. Every single square inch of the house smells like this. And it's like, how did that even happen, bro? It's like, it's kind of died down a little bit, right? But when I walk in my room, I still get hit with a wave of this scent. And this was a week ago. So I definitely need to like, somehow learn how to fumigate, like get the, like fan the stuff out. It's probably a lot better to do this in summer when I can just have my windows open and not winter. But yeah, we're going to smell it now because I'm kind of at a clean slate now. There is a little bit of fragrance in the air that might be a little bit biased because I went to Sephora today to see what kind of fragrances they had. And I sprayed Burberry Hero on this one and Stronger With You Intensely on my other wrist. And I have a horrible headache now from that. And I don't like either of them, to be honest. Burberry Hero is trash. I could see that being like a girl scent. That would be nice. But definitely not a men's cologne. And it's marketed as a men's cologne. So, nah, bro. That ain't it. Stronger With You Intensely, it's kind of mid. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10, to be honest. But yeah, let's review this one. Oh, wait. Actually, I did pick up something else. I did pick up Burberry for Men today, right? So oh, look, reflection of my phone recording. Wow, infinite loop. Okay. I did pick this up. So we'll do a review on this in a little bit. Tomorrow, probably. But yeah, we're going to review this so we can end this video because it's too long for you guys to sit through. Most of my videos, I feel like, are made kind of just to play in the background. Like if you got work you got to be doing or like something you're doing, like by all means, bro, just run this in the background. I am happy with being some white noise, bro. Like, that sounds weird, but like, genuinely, I get it, bro. Also, peep the PJs. It's Christmas, so you can't judge me, bro. But yeah, also, last time I didn't put a label on this. So I'm not going to put this in the video, but I'll probably print a label on this. Oh, this is the wrong one. Hold on. As I just smelled the wrong one. That's why I need a label, because I have another one in here. My dilution from the first thing I made, that also doesn't have a label. But I could tell because this one's half full, that one's like a quarter full. My Burberry's already coming in handy. I'm using it as a tripod right now. It's just sitting on my... It's beautiful. Just trust me. Anyway, this is very strong, very pine scent. Like, I can already smell it through the bottle. And it says genuinely just emit into the air, and It's so strong, okay? But yeah, we're gonna just smell this and hopefully I don't pass out because it's toxic, bro. Not toxic, it's just potent. Oh my gosh, that is strong. So it's very, I mean, it is pine, right? It smells like pine, but it's like so strong. And there's a little bit of a, I don't even know, like a buttery, soapy kind of undertone to it. And it's kind of that top note, kind of top end. I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of a granny floralness that's kind of hidden in the top end. And then the rest is this really sharp pine. The woody and muskness to it, though, is really nice. Overall, it's really nice. I would say overall, like the whole thing smells great. It's just that granny floralness that I don't really rock with very much. I'm not gonna lie, bro. But I do have to keep in mind, like, we're not done with this. So what my hope is that the things that this is missing right now is what we have yet to add to it, right? Because all of our things we couldn't, or that we needed to dilute, I didn't have the stuff to dilute it, but my alcohol arrived, my 99.5%, my 200 proof ethyl. So we can now dilute stuff. How exciting. And we don't have a lot of time before Christmas, so I should probably get on that, right? And I only have 2 more days till I'm back at work, so yeah, I got to do it in the next 2 days, I guess. So no rush, but just a little bit. But yeah, overall the pine scent, it's coming together. Smells pretty great. It's not too Christmassy at this point. I think if we had a little more appleness to it, I think it would really kind of finish that kind of scent. And I think even with the vanillin is going to add to that a little bit with some sweetness in there, because it doesn't really have a lot of sweetness. It's just kind of this sharp, stinging scent, right? So I think with some sweetness in there, it's really going to do a lot. So looking forward to finishing this, hopefully very soon. But yeah, that's about it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like. If you have any feedback or things you'd like to see, feel free to drop them down in the comments. I love to see them. Once again, love to see the support on the last one. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one when we hopefully finish this off and we can just put that behind us. Move on to new things. Start creating new plans. Honestly, I mean, there's so many different directions I could go scent-wise, but we're just going to figure that out when we get there, right? So with all that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.